Right, folks, good evening. Welcome back to VP4TV. We are here, Friday Night Nine Ball's about to start, but we are here to cover the one lost side match between Cobra and BrainFellOut in the Virtual Bank Pool World Championships. Now, Cobra has been in a room for about the last 15-20 minutes getting some practice. There is no sign of BrainFellOut. He's just going to, presumably show up at the last second if he is going to show, because we are getting near the top of the hour. Two or three things to cover. First of all, we have the schedule, which has been updated for the bank pool. We've got Cobra and BrainFellOut, as I say, in a minute or two. We've got Spud Boy and who the hell is Spud Boy playing? Bankster. That is on Saturday at 5 p.m. my time. Then we've got Chiku and Acero. Now they're going at midday on Sunday afternoon. Now that is like 6 o'clock in the morning, Slim's time. At 12 noon my time, I'll be at work on Sunday, so I won't be there to cover it. So hopefully Slim can get that one. And then we have Albinario and Interchange X on Sunday evening or Sunday afternoon, at 4 p.m. I should be around for that one. And then finally we have the match with One Pocket Slim and Bedhead on the Sunday as well at 7 p.m. and Slim will be covering that match himself. Also a reminder that we have the final of the 8-Ball World Championships. That's at 8 p.m. on Sunday, Greenwich Mean Time. And that's, of course, between Albinario and Cobra. And I should be there for that. Right, we are now just knocking on the top of the hour. Friday Night Nine Ball. I'm not sure how many's in it. Let's have a quick look. Not bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we've got 9 in, and it looks as if Slim's not going to make it this week. He can never guarantee he's going to be here, so you've got 9 in. Remember, it's races to 9 all round, and it's just single elimination now. It's not double elimination. So we're just hanging around, waiting to see whether BrainFellOut's going to show. And at the moment, that room should be up, which it is. And no BrainFellOut. So we'll see if he's going to make it or whether he's going to come up with some excuse. In fact, here he's arrived. Now, I can tell you now that Steve won't be here. And the reason he won't be here is because he thinks this is going to be a bloodbath. Well, it probably will be on paper. But, in fact, looking at that as well, Tornado Tam's in the Friday Night Nine Ball, and I don't see him in the lobby either. So he's either going to just turn up or he's totally forgotten about it. Anyway, let's get into the tournament room. They've probably lagged off for the break. The one lost side is a race to 4. Let me change that colour of the cloth to blue. There we go. Yeah, it's just a race to 4, so it really honestly shouldn't take long. And assuming that Slim isn't going to show, then I'll probably drop into some of the matches in Friday Night Nine Ball. But if Slim does show, I'm assuming he's going to be streaming, so I'll be steering well clear of it. Meanwhile, Cobra has got 1 on the board. And we've seen BrainFellOut struggle quite badly with the banks. Like me, he doesn't bank unless he has to in any particular game. It's not something that he spent any great deal of time practicing. I don't know. I don't know what that was he tried there. Maybe it was a three railer he tried. But we've got a dead pocket on the top left. But I think, provided that 6 ball goes out the way, the 2 ball. Well, that 2 ball might not be bankable. I can't tell 100%, but it looks too close to the rail. And Cobra's found a great line there for that 3 ball. Now, is that replay working again? Hang on. I don't know why my replay isn't staying active. I have to activate it each time. And that's another great effort. That's unlucky. I'm getting a bit of echo or feedback. Hang on, maybe let me check something. Testing 1, 2. Testing. Now, can you hear me at the moment? Right. My Logitech G Hub software updated the other day. It looks as if it's been deactivated somehow, which I never even thought to check from the update. Just give me a second. I'll be back in a minute. This match might be over by the time I get by the way, because it's already 4-0 to Cobra. Is everybody else hearing this echo? Yeah. Right. Well, the only way it's going to get fixed is if I tab out, and you're going to have a frozen screen. You're not going to see anything. Hold on a minute. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2. Hello. Hello. Right, guys, apologies for this, but the only way this is going to get fixed is if I completely shut everything down and did a restart, because it looks as if my Logitech G-Hub software that works with this headset isn't kicking in for some reason. Maybe it's needing another update. I don't know, but I can't see what's wrong with it other than it doesn't seem to be picking me up as good. You'll just have to bear with it, I'm afraid. Now, does it sound any different now? Does it sound any different? Let me know if it sounds any better. Now, you see it sounds a little better. Anyway, it's 1-0 to Cobra. We're into rack number 2. There's a background high-pitched sound. It sounds fine now. Right, well, you can let me know if you still hear any background sound or whatever. I'll have a look after this. That's a nice bank. Presuming he called it up and down. But it just caught the 7. Now, does anybody know if Tornado Tam's turned up? More to the point, is he turned up for his match? And don't forget, we've got the matches I mentioned over the weekend, including the 8-ball final at 2000 hours GMT on Sunday evening with Albinario and Cobra. And Cobra moves on to 3 in rack number 2. There is a is there a cutback in that 9-ball? Yes, there is. The 3-ball looks as if it's got plenty of room there. Just caught the knuckle. Right, are you happy with the sound now? Right, good. You'll just have to bloody well put up with the sound. In fact, hit the like button before I have to ask you at the end of the video. The stream, sorry. Right. Well, while this is going on, let's have a quick look and see the bracket. Oh, it looks as if the matches are underway in Friday night 9-ball. Anyway, we won't really know until we get in there. Or whether Slim's going to show up. I don't know whether he's been here. Does anybody know who Scotland got their last, who the last member of the Scotland group was? Somebody find out for us, because I couldn't obviously watch the end of that bloody World Cup thing. What a pile of piss that is. I mean, why don't they just come on and say, right, here's the draw. We don't need all the bloody razzmatazz and bullshit and bloody Donald Trump. It was more than an hour and a quarter before they actually started doing anything. But then again, every World Cup's always the same. A load of mumbo-jumbo until they get to the nitty-gritty and do the bloody draw. So Scotland have got Brazil again. We've got Brazil again. So there's one more numpty team gets put in with the Scotland group, and we'll have to get some sort of result against one of them. because we're not going to get anything out of Brazil. And our objective is to try and qualify from the group. I mean, looking at the group, we've got a fair chance of finishing second in the group and getting through to the last, what the hell is it, the last 32? I don't know. Well, there's what, 12 groups? The last 24. We've got a good chance of getting through, I would say. We just don't expect anything from Brazil because we've never beaten them. But if we do well in our other matches, then we would have a fair chance of actually getting through. Austria, is that who we've got? Well, I would... right, wait a minute here. Hang on a minute. What's Snapnicker saying? Well, Haiti will do as with Voodoo if we've got Haiti in the group. Now, why is Spudboy talking about Austria? Now you've got me confused. What's the group, Napnicker? It's Brazil, Scotland. Who the hell was it? Morocco, was it? And are you saying it was Haiti as the last member of the group? Ah, right. Well, you didn't actually mention Scotland. Right, so Haiti's in there. I think we've got a fair chance, by the way. I don't think we should go head into Ali McLeod territory and think we're going to win the event. I don't think we should get that excited, but I think we've got a fair to middling chance of qualifying with those teams if you just take Brazil out of the equation. Just accept we're going to lose to Brazil. And, well, with the other three teams that's in, I think we have a fair chance. The only thing that's going to go against us is the weather. You know, the humidity and whatever we end up getting, whatever we're going to play. But I think that's fair enough. Meanwhile, BrainFellOut has got himself onto 3 now. He has a chance here. He could be squaring this match up, but Cobra has a chance for the win. He's going to go 2 rails. For this for the win to go 2-0. Now, what's he going to leave BrainFellOut? I think the answer is not a lot. No, wait a minute. That 9 ball sitting sweet. I thought that 5 ball was going to get in the way, but this is fairly sweet, this now. It's pretty close, I think, looking at it. It might not be sweet. Why is he going that way? You know, I think it's just close to the point. Well, that's a missed call, if ever there was one. And look what he's set up for Cobra. I mean, this is what happens when you end up doing something stupid. I think he should have had a go at the up and down there. I mean, it was close that he would get enough of the rail to actually play it, but that's a big sellout. It's 2-0. That up and down looked very tight when you look closely at the line that was it 9 ball was having to hit there. It was just close to the point, but I think if you played it right, I think you might have got away with it. And he never even so much as gave it a thought to play the damn thing, and he ended up playing something stupid. And then, of course, sells out. That might be as close as he's ever going to come to taking the rack off Cobra tonight. It probably will be. So we're into rack number 3. And the up and down, cut back on the 8 ball. That's not going to hold the line enough. It's hit the rail too soon. Not a bad effort. There's a similar shot for Cobra in this 2 ball up and down. The 1 ball may well be a bank into the corner. But the 2 ball's definitely an up and down. Back up where his cue ball is, and that's perfect. Rock solid, nailed it. This bloody replay's not working again. What the hell is going on with this thing? Jesus Christ, man. Everything's breaking. Bloody jinx tonight. So anyway, welcome guys, whoever's there, Spud Boy and Bedhead, Napnicker is there, and I don't know who else is there. There's a missed call. Now, that 7 ball looks too tight to get even try and get a cue ball out of the way there. 3 ball up and down. And I honestly don't think there's much on here for Cobra this time. I mean, he could have a go at the 7 ball. I think the 7 ball will go. I think the 5 ball's out the way enough to play the 7. There's some interesting matches on the one-loss side once these matches that have been scheduled over the weekend. Once they go through, there are some very interesting matchups to come in this tournament. Very interesting. That's a nice one from BrainFellOut. And that will probably be about it. We've got a dead 7 ball up table. He could probably, well, he's rolling on to the 8 now. Why he didn't just, I mean, I'm no expert at this Banks game, but I'd be rolling that 8 ball onto the 7 and getting him into the table, because the 7 ball serves no purpose sitting there. And with the score being 2-1, I think BrainFellOut needs as many balls in the game as he can get. Well, it might go this time now that the 8 ball's heading up table. Not quite, but that's now completely dead. So there's 4 balls in play. Let's be honest, those 4 balls are what BrainFellOut needs, and there's enough there for Cobra. Cobra's decided to tidy them up and bring them into the stack. And that 5 balls, I think, just got enough room. This is no different from the 9 ball that he had up and down and how tight it is to the rail. Now, you see how that went in with the pace that he hit it? That now he should have been bloody hitting that 9 ball up and down that he had earlier. And he might have won that rack. You know, you've got to just grow a pair and go for it and take your chances. You're never going to be favourite against Cobra. So you've got to just go for the shot. I wouldn't be hanging back. I would not be hanging back. He who dares wins is the rule of the game. Cobra's going to have another to take him to the hill in this rack. And he's got a little crossover in that 4 ball. That's a nice crossover in the 4 ball. Plenty of room to get the cue ball out of the way. But he's got it to the rail too soon. And BrainFellOut's life is hanging by a thread in this rack. This match will not be taken long the way it's going. Napnicker, are you still there? Wait till I tell you this one from earlier on today. Only certain people from this part of the world and a certain age would know what I'm talking about. That cue ball's heading south. I think Napnicker's seen enough. Well, anyway, that's the end of that rack. It's 3-0. And Steve's prediction is more than likely going to come true, that it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath. I think most of us thought that, but there's always a chance. You've always got to live in hope. Right. When we're doing the pick in .com, there's a thing called a pre-pick, which is like for odds and ends. Like if somebody orders, I don't know, they could order super glue or something like that, you know, little odds and ends stuff to go with their main order, then that is done in a pre-pick the night before. You know, a person will go around with a trolley and pick off a list of stuff that they've to put in the pre-pick trolley for the next day. Well, guess what I had this morning? I had to go in to get from the pre-pick 4 candles. Candles for folks. I had to get 4 candles. I burst out laughing when I saw it in the handheld device. Four candles. And of course, I'm saying to some of the people through them, but none of them had a clue what I was talking about. I said, "You ever heard of the 2 Ronnies?" No. I had to get 4 candles. That's the first time that's ever happened in .com. Well, certainly for me it is. Nice sweet little bank there from BrainFellOut. He's not going to get a great deal more with the 1 ball being dead. And, well, the 2 ball into the side, unless he's trying to cut this back. Well, where the cue ball's finished now, there's a crossover. You know, this is where the cue ball could meet the 7 ball on the way back up. And it's well away from that. The 7 ball goes in. Now, it's all about how the cue ball's been left. It's not been left all that good, but I think there's a cross up and down again in this 4 ball. Definitely is. Gone to the rail too soon this time. And Cobra is just a couple of balls away from sealing the deal in this match. What, you made some curtains for Ronnie Corbett? He used to wear things that looked like curtains. He had all sorts of weird suits. He wouldn't, Ronnie Corbett, well, if you're saying you did that, he wouldn't have been living up here at the time. I think he's been living down south. Well, I said, well, he'd lived down south for donkey's years. That's unless he had somewhere up here that he used to go to. I mean, he'd been working down south since the 50s, Ronnie Corbett. I don't know what BrainFellOut tried there. Oh, now that's the thing. I was talking to Steve this afternoon when he was saying he wasn't coming into the stream. Now, is there anybody in the stream tonight who isn't on the 64-bit version? And the reason I'm asking is because, as far as he said, that after the 8-ball final on Sunday, he's intended to do the update. So if you don't have the 64-bit full version installed, his advice is get it done, because you'll have to do it anyway. And then the other thing is that the fixes are within the update for the sync issue with snooker, etc. So there's a few fixes that are going to get done with that. Cue ball's gone, and it could be all over. It could be all over, bar for the fact that the balls are not sitting absolutely perfect, but he's got a 9 ball or a 2 ball up and down, and he's got to think about the cue ball for the follow-up to win the match. And that nails one of them. So, BrainFellOut -1, Cobra with match ball. 1 ball into the side, I believe. And that is that. So a proper drilling and a little 27-minute run out there for Cobra. It's a 4-0 win, a very confident win. These matches are on in the Friday Night 9 Ball, so we'll be looking at that in a minute. But in the meantime, let's have a look at how things shape up on this bank pool, because I said there's a few nice matches coming up on this one-loss side. So the remaining matches are the Spud Boy Bankster match tomorrow at 5 p.m. We've got Chiku and Acero, which is Sunday at midday my time. I'll be at work. And Albinario Interchange X on Sunday at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I'll be there for that. And then you'll get Slim and Bedhead on Sunday at 7 p.m. And tell a lie, I think, was that 7 a.m.? Am I read that right? Or is it my eyes just completely gone at this time? And no, it's 7 p.m. I thought that was a bit weird. So the one-loss side now has those matches on the schedule, but you know, you look at who could be matched up in the next round. You've got Spud Boy Bankster, you've got the Acero Chiku, Interchange X Albinario, and you've now got the match from the result there from Cobra going through. So Cobra could be lined up with Albinario next, or Interchange X. That might be a very interesting match to watch. The winner's side, of course, you have Bedhead and Slim, and you've got Stub and Cold as Pillow now. They've got until December the 12th to get that match arranged, so there's another few days to go. I don't know whether there's been any correspondence between either of them, but you know what it's like with Stub. He pisses about for 3 or 4 days before he does something. In the meantime, we've got 3 matches on at the moment. We've had a couple of results, or one result certainly there. Larry and Power Slam. Power Slam has taken Larry down, and Larry's gone home. He's gone home early by 9 racks to 5. No doubt Power Slam was getting a decent handicap, I would assume. In fact, that's the first result I think that's come through. So we will go into the bracket, and with Larry out of the equation, then you'd have to put the favourite down to Spectre Dawn again. So let's have a look. Professor Dabbs is getting, what's he getting, 8 ball. Spud Boy has got a bye. Spectre Dawn is 8-3 up against Stefan. Romario in round 2, 6 apiece. I think we'll get into that match with those two. Catch the end of that one. It's now 7-6 to Romario. And there's that result just come through as well. Spectre Dawn has gone through by 9 racks to 3. Well, this is certainly not safe. Now, what you've got to hope you do here is that when you cut this in, you don't really run into anything, that you can actually come up and down the table clean. It's a tall order to do it, because you don't really want to tweak too much in the cue ball to try and get that 1 ball in. Now Romario's got the chance to get to the hill. And it's just a question of whether it's going to be the good Romario tonight, the bad Romario, or the completely ugly Romario, as to how he's going to do. Don't say that, Spud Boy. I think, you know, on the day, if you get a few nice lines, you never know what can happen. You've just got to trust the old eyes. Well, Romario Looks as if he's going to get himself in the hill. And he'll be breaking for the match. Romario asking if the bank pool's finished. Needs the legs. It's going to get there. Nice touch. And a nice little bump in the 8 ball. Yeah, but you say you don't bank well, but you might bank well in the day. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. I don't bank well either. I'm useless at banking. I either nail it or I don't, and most of the time I don't. See, like this 7 ball here, I'd be expecting to get this 7 ball about 8 times out of 10 because it's nicely off the rail and it's a comfortable up and down into the bottom right-hand corner as we look. So I would expect Houdini to get this in if he plays it right, but it looks like he's cutting across it too much. See, that's him trying to do the 9 ball when he should have done the right thing and tried to actually bank the 7. You know, that's not using your head. Oh, we were playing doubles the other day. Who did I have? I had Liquid as my doubles partner. And there are sometimes I want to grab somebody by the collar and shake them for not actually seeing the most obvious thing to do, just stop the cue ball. I'm glad I didn't have him on Discord because I would have been ripping him to shreds. But some people just don't see the simple shot. Believe me, they just don't do anything simple. They're scared to try and control the cue ball. Anyway, Romario goes through 9 racks to 6. So we've had the Spectre Dawn Stefan result. And we've still got Professor Dabs. And let's go in and see if we can jinx Tam. He'll be want me to stay well clear. But Tam's in trouble. He's given away the 5 ball. And he's got work to do to get back into this. Now, the 5 ball is fairly hefty, especially if Tam's make mistakes coming towards the 5 ball. Well, he's got the 6 ball. He's got a shot in the 1. Well, dare I say it now, here's the obvious thing. Now, this is where certain players of certain levels just don't think. Now, Tam's looking at the 1. He knows he wants to just drop the 1 in and get on the 2. Now, this needs a little stun to get on to the 3. There are players playing this game who don't even think about that. And that's what annoys me the most. That they haven't worked on their technique enough to actually control the cue ball and play the right shot. Because that's what you should be doing. And that's what sets me off in rants, especially if I'm partnered with somebody who is just not... It's not that they're not capable of playing the shot, it's just that they haven't bothered their ass to even try learning a particular shot, holding the cue ball or stuff like that. And that really gets my blood boiling. Because they're perfectly capable. And Tam, of course, now having got rid of the 5 ball, table's clear for the run out. Battling for survival. Yeah, I just wish that players would apply themselves a wee bit better, especially if they're my partner. Because I mean, I'm no expert by far, but I know enough to know when you should be doing something simple. And if you're not prepared to even see the shot and do something simple, then you're never going to improve. This is why I believe some folk they actually need vocal instruction. This is why you should have your partner on Discord so that you can actually help them and they can help you. So if we ever have a doubles world championship, that's the road we should go down. Well, Professor Dabbs, with him getting the 5-ball, the worry for Tam is that the 5-ball is out in the clear. His problem he's got here is he's going to have a good shot to get on this 4, because this cue ball wants to come. It wants to come inside this 4-ball down the right-hand side. Now, I wonder if Dabbs knows this. You know, this is the thing. See, he's because of that, he started slamming a 3-ball for no reason whatsoever. All you need to do is work the cue ball with a wee bit of English to stop it running where it wants to go. And, you know, Dabbs started to give it a smack. He could come out good in this because Tam's now he's gone awkward. And Tam needs to get lucky here, and he needs to hit a rail for a start. Now, here's a little shot. Here's the type of shot I'm talking about. You do a little draggy draw stun shot and you hold for the 5 down into the corner. That's simple, right? Now, watch what Dabbs does. Let's see if he's prepared to hold this cue ball. There's a little draggy draw stun shot punch. He hasn't quite held it 100%, but that'll do. That'll do. And in it goes, and he's on the hill. Oh, is Professor Dabbs one of these players that goes good game after every bloody rack? That's most annoying. We need to have a word with him about that. We definitely need to have a word. I thought we'd left all that behind in Virtual Pool 3. Good game, good game, good game, good game. No, we need to get him out of that habit. Because there's no way I'm replying to that every bloody rack. no way Tam's doing it either. Right, so Tam's at the point of no return. He's got a 1-7 combo where he just needs to trickle the 1 ball and no more. Because he wants to keep that 1 ball there, but he doesn't want to hook himself. He's fine. And now this is the one where he has to get up top. He needs to get up there and stay well clear of the side pocket. Commentator's eye. Oh dear. And again, he didn't see the line for the scratch. So Tam is an umpty because he should have avoided that by making sure he steered well clear. You know, even if you end up down here, it doesn't matter. You've got a shot in the 2. So that was a pretty poor shot by Tam. He should never have been scratching side pocket. The commentator's eye said, you've got to watch the side pocket. And Tam quite clearly wasn't listening to the little voice in his head. Or he would have took evasive action. Now, is this going to be a combo in the 9? And in it goes. Proper humiliation. Have that. Good night to Tam. Professor Dabbs goes through by 9 racks to 6. And Tam sold himself out there. He only needs to watch the video and he'll see it. He'll see what a numpty shot he did. And what the hell Stubb ranting about? I won't even bother reading that. I won't even give it any time of day. So now we have a round 2 match. Poor Spud Boy's been sitting there waiting and this getting done and dusted. Let's refresh the view. And we'll update this bloody thing. Why doesn't Steve just default this to 30 seconds and have done with it, eh? instead he is having to use a drop down. That's another thing that annoys me. Right, so we've got the round 2 match with Professor Dabs and Spud Boy. That could be interesting. Spectre Don's going to have a bit of a wait. Well, he had a bit of a wait anyway since he got through because he was waiting in the TAM match finishing. Now he's going to have to wait until this Dabs Spud Boy match finishes. This could be on for an hour. Spectre Don could go and have a lie down and have a snooze by the time these guys are finished. And meanwhile, into round 3, we have Power Slam and Romario. Romario's up 1-0, so we'll go into that. And Power Slam is getting a 7-ball. That's not quite as hard to deal with for Romario. Now, Power Slam, I think, likes a game of snooker, so that's the snooker player in him. As does Romario. He likes a game of snooker as well. So Power Slam did the right thing there. He could have gone for the bank, and that cue ball's gone. So he's going to get his reward there and get ball in hand and a gift to pot the 7-ball to square the match. So that's where you got the reward for playing the right shot. Is Tam even daring to come into the stream so I can rip him to shreds? I bet he isn't. I bet he's gone south and gone home. I think he's long gone. Tam just doesn't have the commentator's eye. It has to be said. We all seen it. He didn't. So I'm going to rip him to shreds about it when I see him. Now, there is a path to get this cue ball. Well, I'm surprised he didn't have a go for it there, but there was a path there to jab that 1 ball in, spin through the gap, and come down the table and get on that 2 ball. I would have went for it. Get the 2 ball down the rail. Well, remember what I said about the good, and the good, the bad, and the ugly of Mario? That was a mixture of all 3 there. The jammy get flukes a 5 ball into the side, and he's sitting plumbing the 1 ball. Oh, is he going to hook himself? Nope, that's perfect. Now, again, little jabby holding shot. He's going to play that. He's going to baby it. And now this just needs a little stun out into the table. Now, again, he can hold off this. He can come... I mean, maybe he's got too much angle to square across the table and hold it. Well, he's trying to hold it short side. That was maybe not the best idea in the world that he's ever come up with. I mean, what an exercise in trying to make your life difficult. He's going to get there, probably. Oh, I never even noticed Professor Dabs was in the chat there. Good evening. So, 2-1 to Romario. The break looks dry. And we've got a problem down this bottom end of the table. Crossover in the 2, little bump in the 4, and there's a little gap to get the cue right down to pot the 3. That's perfect. Now, does that 7 bank up the table? Probably not. Does it bank up the table? Well, again, the commentator's eye was wanting to give it a serious look at that 7 ball to actually play the combo up and down, but I think the 6 ball might have been in the way. It's a good chance for Romario here. He just needs to avoid the 6 ball if he can, which he has done. He's gone inside, and everything's all set up for what should be a comfortable run out. Ideally, he wants to stop the cue ball where the 6 ball is, rather than going down through to the rail. At least give him some sort of angle. And that's perfect. That's good enough. As long as you don't go short, you've got to go high enough. I'm actually hoping Slim was going to show up, but no sign of him. Because if that was the case, I was going to bail out and let him finish the stream if he wants, because I want to go and watch the snooker before I go to bed. But anyway, Romario with a 3-1 lead. 2 ball has gone. Bit awkward in the 1 ball. Awkward as well because he's got to check this cue ball, try and leave a sight on the 3 ball. And he hasn't quite got there. Now he's got to watch the scratch off the back of this. And he didn't get right behind it, which meant the cue ball avoided the scratch because of it, but he's left it on. So here's a good chance for Power Slam. Just to roll the 3 in. Now, the angle he's got in the 4, he wants to stun out into the table a wee bit here. He doesn't need to draw back. He just wants to stun out it slightly. He needed to get a wee bit more, but it should be fine. Now, he's gone a bit straight, but he can pinch the angle a bit because of the right-hand side of the pocket. The only thing he didn't want to do is come too far down and hook himself behind the 9, but that's good enough. As long as you get to the side pocket, you should have a reasonable cut. And he's back in it. That's the danger that Romario just got to be wary of. You know, if you go so far in the rack and then you fail by whatever means, you're just leaving wide open tables all the time. And if you're good enough like Power Slam is, you can pick them off. Well, no prizes for guessing what's going to happen next year. Romario's going to bury him. And he hasn't. And he hasn't got him tight enough. Yes, he can't get to the 2 clean, but he should have been stuck in that 9 ball. That cue ball gets a double kiss. I think it was heading for the pocket anyway. So somehow or other, Romario's won that battle. He's got ball in hand. Well, that 4 ball does go if you're sitting fairly sweet on it. Mario has obviously already looked at it. He's trying to get to the line, but this is not ideal because your tendency is to cut it into the 8. Yeah, just like that. It needed to be further out in the table, but I think he's going to get second prize again here. Yeah. So, 4 ball, 5 ball, depending on the angle he has in the 5 will depend how easy it is to be on the 6. And I think he's going to go at the rail, obviously. Wasn't sure whether he was going to hit the 9, but did he have to hit that as hard as that? Because now he's in trouble. And this is another one where he could end up giving away the rack just because he's not getting the job done. Now, Power Slam just has to be wary of the 8 ball here. Now, you see, he had to commit a lot better than that, because now he's left it really awkward. He should have went way up the table and left that 7 ball long. Now he's left a dodgy cut. And he knew where the cue ball was going to go, but he didn't play the right shot there. He had to get that cue ball. Even if he was going to run away up the table and leave a long 7 ball, that was far easier than what he actually left himself. And he got away with it as well, because Romario's had a slam. And now another gift for power slam. And we're back all square. So Romario's 2-rat lead has gone. And I've just read that in the chat as well. Professor Dab said, I don't know what question he's answered, but he says, for your information, I hadn't really played since VP3. Well, that's 20 years. I don't know what question he's answering by making that statement. I've totally lost it. I was bored shitless, Tam. So I was. What a load of waste of time for an hour and a quarter before they actually get started. I don't know about you, Tam, but I think we've a fair chance of actually qualifying, believe it or not. Forget Brazil. We're not going to beat Brazil. But I think we've a fair chance against the other 2 numpties. You know, we're not going to get anything out of Brazil. We'll get gubbed by them. Or we'll come close and end up losing 2-0 or 2-1 or something daft like that. But I would say that we've got a fair to middling chance against the other 2. And by the way, you're a numpty, Tam. I said it in the stream. The commentators, I said, watch the scratch in the side pocket. What does Tam do? Scratch in the side pocket. He doesn't take evasive manoeuvres. He doesn't get the cue ball higher up the table, leave the longer shot, but avoid the scratch. So I said I was going to rip into you when I saw you, so that's it done. Oh, aye, and I'll tell you the same thing I told Napnicker earlier on there. We have a pre-pick at the work where they pick stuff the night before for things that we will need for orders the next day. And I had an order today where it come up for 4 candles. I had to go and get the pre-pick, which was in a basket for me. It was 4 candles. So when I went over to the basket through the back, I said, I held my scanner up and I said, I'm looking for 4 candles. Candles for folks. Nobody laughed because they hadn't a bloody clue what I was talking about. They're all far too young. That's the very first time I've ever had that one. Oh dear, Romario's fallen apart like a cheap suit here. He sees his 3-1 lead. It has drifted away and gone. And power slam says thank you very much. Rolls in the 9. And Romario's now got work to do. Oh, aye. I mean, I'll tell you what. I've been on eBay today looking to get my micro mouse, or to buy a micro mouse to replace what I've got, because the zoom button in the mouse isn't functioning properly. When I press the right mouse button to zoom in and out, it's not working. And that's the best mouse I've got in terms of touch for 9-ball. It's the most reliable one for 9-ball. And with it not working, I'm monkeying about with other mice, which I just cannot get the touch on them at all. It's like losing your right leg or your right arm, whatever one's your favourite. It's just no good. And I will continue to shoot like an numpty until I get something. If I can buy an old micro mouse on eBay, or the trouble is, the ones I was looking for, I mean, these things are years old. They're still wired mice. they've gone completely out of fashion. And every time I looked at a picture of one, when I opened it up on the screen, it comes up saying unavailable. No, a bad workman. It's not about blaming his tools. It's about the mouse that I was most familiar with. In fact, don't forget, I've now lost my cowboy mouse. I had one of them, and I also had a backup. I bought these two mice years and years ago, and the two of them are now dead because the cable. It's a poorly designed Microsoft mouse. And they were notebook mice that I bought years ago. I bought one, and then I bought one a couple of years later as a backup. And they've got the crappiest cable connection to the mouse, where through the years of me using it, the cable's eventually twisted up and become loose, and so the mouse keeps disconnecting. It keeps losing connection to the USB, so they're now dead. And that was my most reliable cowboy mouse. So I've now lost my 9-ball mouse and my cowboy mouse. And meanwhile, Romario is back on par. So I'll be hunting around. This is where I start hunting around buying mice till I find one that I like. But by the time I've thrown these I've got 4 mice to throw in the bin, believe it or not. 4 mice that are now effectively dead. They're not reliable. And the next place they're going to go is the bin. But I'll probably end up having just as many mice in quite a short period of time by the time I order stuff off eBay or Amazon. I don't want any wireless mouse. I don't want anything with batteries and crap like that. But to me, they're even less reliable than a bloody wired mouse. You have to go hunting about, and they break down just when you don't want them to break down. You have to go hunting for batteries and all that crap. You have to plug in your little receiver into the USB. To me, that's a waste of a USB port. So it is. Can't be bothered with it. Welcome to No Doubt About, whoever you are. So, neck and neck here, 4 apiece. Now, can he get enough of that 5-ball, and can he bank it up past the 9? That's my question. Well, he obviously doesn't think he can, or he would have played it. And instead, Romario plays the worst shot of the night. There you've just witnessed it. It's even worse than Tam's scratch in the side pocket. That's a bloody terrible shot. And Romario, and that wasn't a good shot either, because he's way short and getting above that 6-ball. Now, this might bang in off the back of the 9, or he might combo the 9 just like that. And the replay is finally working. And power slam. I mean, there's no way that was an easy combo on the 9. Far from it. But he's got the lead. And he's also got a ball or balls in the break. I think the 2 and the 4's gone. A bank on the 1. I think he got a double kiss there. But he's got it up in the top left corner. Bank on the 3-ball as well. Not this time. So Romario needs to get his act together here. Okay, and this is where you can't afford to make the mistake. The pressure builds up on you when you know you're giving away that 7-ball, and you start feeling twitchy. You're just gifting racks to your opponent. You see, again, he's gone a bit straight in this 7, so he's got to just draw this back a wee bit. Now he's going forward. At least to hold. That looks good pace, though. I think he's played that pretty well. Aye, so this World Cup draw, they spent 20 minutes blowing smoke up Donald Trump's arse, giving him awards, with all that bullshit going on. The cue ball's gone. And then they had all the little fun stuff going on. I mean, why don't they just do a straight bloody draw, and it could have all been over in half an hour? instead of virtually 2 hours, where the first hour, about an hour and a quarter of it was a load of bullshit. I'm sure a lot of folk don't even watch the draw. They'd just rather go and look at a screenshot of it and see the groups at the end of the whole thing, rather than sitting through that shenanigans. Slam can play. Oh, hang on a minute. The hell's happened there? I've lost my chat. Start it again. Slam can play. He's a YouTuber as well. Runs a channel dedicated to Barnsley. So what you're basically saying is he gets the same amount of viewers as I do, 5. I wonder if Michael Parkinson was a subscriber back in the day. Born and bred in Barnsley, Michael Parkinson was. Romario back in level terms, and I think we're back to the good Romario at the moment. Once again, with this shot, you've just got to get high enough into the table left side. We get high enough. Oh dear. Oh dear. Is he corner hooked? No, he isn't. Well, I'm sure a little bit of pee leaked out there for Romario. Right, see you later, Tam. 8 ball goes in. Where's the cue ball going? I think it's heading south. So ball in hand for power slam. And this could be a quick rack, because if he gets that cue ball lined about there, he can, well, he's left it short, but he can still play the combo. He's just got to pick out how much of that 9 ball he has to chip. Well, I don't think he spent enough time actually looking at it, but he ends up fluking the 2. Would you believe it? Watch all pockets. Romario survives that one. Wee bit of a tricky cut in the 4, but the cue ball's heading the right direction though. He's overhit it, or he's underhit it, one of the 2. And this is the thing that will catch him out eventually, but he's trying to rescue the situation. How's he going to get away with this one? He probably will. But this will bank past the 9. Oh, look at that. Look at that for a shot. Look at that. There's a shot of the night there. Glances the 6 ball. Brushes the 6 ball. Brushes the 9 and into the side pocket. That's the bank of the night. But it's Romario that has eventually opened up the gap. Iraq lead. Five ball and the 1 ball have gone. 2 ball. Long ways away. And the cue ball, a long way away. Now, you've got to look at this two ball and see what you can pinch, and you can certainly pinch a bit of rail in two ball to get this cue ball up the table. Well, he's absolutely massacred that. Bank into the side, cut into the side, going for the cut. This time, it's Power Slam that gets second prize. Got the hook. So Romario has given Power Slam ball in hand. And the obvious thing here is that there's a 7 and 8 ball that won't be doing him anything unless he does something to try and release them, which he's done. And that's very well played. You know, you got a nice little rub in the 4 ball, but he had to free them up to give himself a chance to get out, and he couldn't have done that any better. Or he couldn't have got a better result from it than what we've seen now. He just needs to get the cue ball out far enough. And he's going to have a chance here just to stay in touch. I think that was a 3 ball that's gone. Well, there's a bank up and down, which I think, no, I tell you, my eyes are playing havoc with my line of sight here, because that 7 ball was never it was never going to get out the way for a bank. How's that 2 ball sitting? Just a little feather touch, and well, it was a bit heavier than a feather touch, but it went in, and he's sitting very nicely on the 4. Again, got to get up high enough up the table. Now that the cue ball's off the rail, he's got to be careful here what he's doing with the cue ball. He's giving himself a chance. And he's always going to be in the 8. That's a nice little recovery from Romario. And it's going to take him to the hill. There's that pattern with the 3 balls. A couple of balls have gone in. 1 ball is bankable into the side. It's cuttable into the side as well. Nailed it into the side pocket. This is trickier. He had something similar to this earlier on. This time it goes in. Now he's a bit too close to the rail for comfort here. You just need to jack up and get a hold of this cue ball. Well, he isn't. He's letting it run, but it needs to run far enough. Ideally, it needed to run far enough to avoid interfering with the 9 ball. So he's just playing it soft, but he's going to be hampered. This is a bit fiddly. And it goes. So Romario has come good in the end. And he gets over the line by 9 racks to 6. So he came good when he needed to. Right, so now with this quick refresh, we can see that, well, Romario's actually in the final. I didn't even realise that. So Romario's going to have a long wait because we've got Professor Dabs and Spudboy still trying to settle things here. Spudboy with a 5-2 lead. The winner, of course, will play Spectre Dawn in that second semi-final. You see who's going to play Romario. Now, the thing is that whichever one of these guys goes through, and the favourite at the moment is Spudboy, they're going to get a decent handicap against Spectre Dawn. The problem with playing Spectre Dawn is you don't get a lot of opportunities. So the first priority is that whatever opportunity you get, no matter how easy or difficult it is, you have to see the job through. Now, if it's difficult, then you have to be using your common sense as to whether there's any value in you actually going for something when an easier safety shot is available, because you have to start using your head when you're playing people like Spectre Dawn. You just cannot be going all out if you don't have the game that's going to get you there going all out. If you don't have the game that's going to back up your playing style, then you're doomed to defeat. So you have to be a bit more wily and sensible. And that would be my advice to any of these two guys. You've just got to play with common sense. You'd be surprised what can happen. And you've got to at least try and make the most of that handicap. But a lot of the time, people, when they have that opportunity against Spectre Dawn, Cobra as well. Cobra doesn't play Friday Night 9-ball. Spectre Dawn's a perfect example, though, where he's got such a good rating. You're going to get a generous enough handicap. It's all about whether you're good enough to make anything of it. And if you play things the right way most of the time, yes, you will have a chance to make the most of it. Not many chances. In fact, what makes your result look even more bad is the fact that you had only maybe 2 or 3 chances in the whole match, and you never made any use of any of them, because you will not get a lot of opportunities. And that's why it's so difficult to beat, especially when it's a race to 9. A race to 9 is like, I mean, it's not exactly a marathon, but it's longer than most tournaments we do, unless you're in a world championship. I haven't had a look at the 10-ball world championship, but I believe there's a few more people signed up. I might just do that. In fact, I might just do that right now that I've got the notion to do so, and see how things are shaping up there, because it starts on January the 1st, 2026. And we can have a quick update on how that's going. Yeah, I think we've got a few more in, and there's still plenty of room to get more in. Well, the one name that I can see, there's probably a few that the rest of you are looking at that I've noticed are missing. We have MC Clarkey hasn't signed up. I don't know whether he's intended to do that. Larry's already in. Stubb, of course, is already in. Bedhead's in. Cobra's still to get in. Albinario is still to get in. So it's a given that these guys are going to sign up unless they're going away on holiday or whatever, or whether that clashes with the running of the tournament. But you'd expect those guys still to be signing up, and a few others as well, I would hope. Oh, welcome to Cobra. Now, here's an interesting thing. Earlier today in the lobby, Mr. Fox was online. I think he played in a tournament, and I looked at the chat, because I'm not. I mean, although I'm in the lobby, I'm not there all the time. I was actually mostly watching the snooker this afternoon and trying to stay awake to do so. Mr. Fox typed something to the. I'm paraphrasing here. It said, "Thank you, VP4. I enjoyed it. See you later," or words to that effect. If somebody else was there, they could back me up in that. So, Mr. Fox, I think, has left the building with the intent not to come back, or he's going to do what he did previously: go away, change his name, and then come back again. So, don't expect to see him around in the lobby for a while. I think he's had enough, or he tried to give the impression that he's had enough. Well, Steve got it right, Cobra. He messaged me earlier on and he said, "Oh, look at that for a fluke. That Spud Boy's a jammy git. Look at this. Didn't even bat an eyelid. Not even an apology. Nothing." Steve messaged me earlier on. He said, "I won't be there for the match. It's pretty much going to be a bloodbath." And for at least once, Steve called it right. Oh dear. Well, Spud Boy must have felt guilty there because he missed a fairly simple 8-ball into the side. You wonder when you look at the scores how Spud Boy got to 7-2 in front. What the hell's Professor Dab been doing to end up being 5 racks behind against Spud Boy when he's missing 8 balls into a side pocket? Well, BrainFellOut, I think, had a good chance to win at least one rack, but he ended up selling out because he had a 9-ball, I think it was a 9-ball, where he could have had a go at banking it up and down and refused it, and then he played something similar in another rack. I think it was like there, and he nailed the bank. And if only he'd taken on that 9-ball up and down, it might have been a different story. Had he got a rack in the board, but I think that's where he sort of sold out, not even giving it a go. So, quick reminder: Professor Dabs is getting the 7-ball. He's managed to pinch one back there, and Spud Boy having a go at the bank, holding for the 2-ball, but using the 5-ball as a blocker. I don't think he's high enough to play the jump. What do I know? He played it perfectly. See, that's why I'm no use at jumping, because that didn't look as if he was high enough with the cue. Maybe that's my problem, where I'm going too high. Not that I play that often, and when I do, I don't play many jump shots. Well, that looked fairly obvious. Straight into the corner pocket. And ball in hand. And a 2-9 combo waiting to be played if you're prepared to have a go. Now, if that was me and I'm in the tournament, I'm playing the 2-9 combo. I don't care what anybody says, because you've got a fair chance of that going in, because you get that bit of leeway as long as you get a decent line to it. Spud Boy's probably going to regret this. Now he's got to actually save face and actually get out. Once you've made that decision, you've got to back yourself all the way. Now is he too straight? Got a very slight angle. And there you go. So now Spud Boy refusing that ball in hand combo in the 9. Now Dabs, well, he's going to have to work something out here because he's the wrong side of the 6. And he needs to get far enough out into the table to give this half a chance to go in, because he's got like half a pocket, and at this angle, it's not great. because your line of sight as you're looking at the 7, he's had a slam at it, almost flukes at cue ball thinking of going south. It doesn't. And Spud Boy is left with a bank that isn't set and possibly not been able to get the cue ball out of the way either, I don't think. I think he's going to have to cut this across to try and get it in the side and try and get the cue ball out of the way. Oh, he didn't. He actually nailed it. That was excellent. Again, my eye tells me one thing, but what I'm watching is completely different. I think he played that spot on. Absolutely blasted it. And there's Spud Boy telling us earlier in the chat that he can't bank. What a bloody liar. He knocked a hole in the back of the pocket with that bank. So, I think the crisis is over for Spud Boy. He's got a comfortable 8-3 lead on the hill and breaking for the match, and I'm going to have a quick drink. So see, the good news is that I got in the room. The bad news is Spud Boy's the only one in it. I would have thought Spectre Dawn would have been keen to get things underway. Oh, here we go. He's in at last. Now, well, this is probably the most dangerous handicap, apart from, 5 and out. Spud Boy's good enough to be getting use of a 5-ball money ball. He definitely is. It's just a question of whether he's going to have, as many opportunities as he might need to be winning 9 racks, and I don't think he will. And that's, as I said, why it's so difficult for players of Spud Boy's level to do any great damage against Spectre Dawn, unless Spectre Dawn commits a lot of self-inflicted damage. But as I say, you can help yourself by using common sense. And that's a different thing. That brings a different thing to the game, rather than just try to shoot your way through each rack when, in all honesty, you're probably not good enough to do it. So you just have to get wise. So the challenge now is, again, the angle he's got in this 3-ball, it's a bit crazy to go this way to try and get to the 4. Now, he had the angle there just to hold for the 4, and that's perfect. I needed to have a quick look at that to see. Now I've got the hiccups now with a drink to see whether he could hold for the 4. It's all about the line. The little potting line in the 4, the cue ball's going to get up there for the 5 into this corner. So unless he starts doing stuff with the cue ball, he's not going to have an ideal pot in the 5. He's trying to check it up and bring it back out into the table, and he's given himself a decent chance here for this first rack. Now, if anything, Spud Boy's just proved to himself, if he had any doubt that he's good enough, as long as you apply yourself and you take that chance like he did, then you can get a result. So he did nothing wrong there. And he's got that 1 ball on the side. I think, did that go on the side the first time round? And he's also on the 2. And again, he just needs to drop the 2 in and do nothing. And again, get your bearings. What do I always say? Know where you're going to go before you make the move. Now, he might be running into the 8-ball here, depending on whether he wants to try and hold the cue ball to the rail or whatever. Now, he's going, the line was nowhere near the 8-ball. My eyes have totally gone for the night. Now, this is the one that could get dodgy. Because, again, the natural path the cue ball wants to go is to go to the rail and come along and out and round the back of the 7 and 9. It's a question of whether you're brave enough just to let it go, because it could end up ugly or it could end up sweet. It's going to end up ugly. Or is it? Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to play it. These are easy, according to Steve, remember. You've got to try and pick that line, not send it to the long rail. And he's nailed it, and suddenly it's 2-0. Watch that 1 ball on the side again. I'm sure he got the same in those 2 racks. Look, there it goes again. I watch the cue ball. One ball in the side again. Well, whatever the hell Spud Boy's done with his break, he has found something to pot that one ball in the side pocket. Now, this is not quite as straightforward, because look at that room that he has with the two ball here. He should be looking to try and duck here, I think, which he can do. If he just thin edges that too, he can try and duck round the corner. He's actually got it too thin, believe it or not. He needed it a wee bit thicker than that. Well, he's not left a bank, but he has left a cut. And this is Spectre Don's first sight of the table. And he's found a gap. Nicely done. And Spud Boy's thinking, well, that's this rat gone. But I wouldn't be quite so sure about that, because that 8 ball needs to be probably broke out for there. So he has to get the right angle in this 7. And you never know what can happen. And he's took the risk. And he's got lucky that he's still got a shot in the 6. But now he has to leave himself a dodgy cut in this 8 ball. There's just enough room to get the cue ball in there to make the cut. But that 8 ball is absolutely locked solid to the rail. It's frozen. So if I'm Spud Boy, I'm getting myself ready for maybe a possible opportunity. And I think if I was Spectre Don, I'd be looking at a way of trying to break this 8 ball out, because the angle he's got now, he's going to have to go left English, try and spin it into it. And he's broke it out. And that's a lot better than where it was. Spectre Don does the inevitable. He finds a way out. This is Spectre Don's old familiar hunting ground, Friday night 9 ball. It's just a pity he doesn't expand his horizons and get himself into these other tournaments. Well, he's broke off in rack number 4. He's come up dry. Well, that'll do. Well, Spectre Don, it's not often you see that, but he's completely missed the ball. And Spud Boy. Now, this is the type of thing where you have, you know, an opportunity given to you by the stronger player. And, you know, now you've got a table that you have to work your way out on. And that 2 ball is just sitting a bit awkward. I mean, you can just roll the 1 in and roll through for the 2 into the side, into the corner, but you have to have an angle in the 2 where you can come across for this 3. And the problem with the 3 is it's pretty much blocked by the 6. So let's have a look. I mean, you're not doing anything with the 3 ball past the 6. And the only place it really goes is into that top left-hand corner. And the angle he's got in the 2 is no good for that. And I think he has to take evasive action to avoid the 4 here as well. And he's done that. And he's going to have some sort of a shot. It ain't pretty, but there is a gap, and it will go. This is the least of his worries because he's got to think about the cue ball also and that 4 ball up top. But I think the main focus is get this in the hole and then deal with the situation by whatever you're left with for this 4 ball. And that is beautiful. And he's got the cut. What a shot that was. That's an excellent shot. Now he's got to follow it through. Now you see, it's too thin a cut to be holding the cue ball up that end of the table. Now he's taking a risk. And now he's in trouble. That was the only danger. I mean, if he'd overhit that and come down here, he was still had a shot in the 5, but he was trying to be too good. I don't know whether he was trying to leave it short in the 5 or let it run through. Now he's going to have to play a recovery shot. He plays the kick. And now here's a dilemma, a bit of a dilemma for Spectre Dawn. Does he play the hook or does he go all out for the cut? My thinking is he goes all out for the 5 ball. Because that's just what these guys do. And he's overdone it. He's overdone it, but he's going to get second prize again. Well, I'd be giving this the old full booner. Giving it a smack and a half. Get the amp on and blast it, because you never know. Well, it needs to slow up. Well, that'll do it. I mean, there's no doubt Spectre Dawn's still going to try and cut this up the table. I've no doubt of that. Cue ball's going to go in a decent direction to come back across for the 6. But the pressure's on. And it's gone to the rail too soon. And Spud Boy gets a gift. Now you don't make sure you don't do something daft like follow this in. And you'll have your 2-rack lead again. 3 racks to 1. Well, so far so good for Spud Boy. He's not really done anything stupid, which is the first priority, is that you don't commit to it. You know, if you start causing your own downfall, there's nothing more annoying. If you're obviously trying your best and try not to do something stupid more often than not, then you're giving yourself a chance. And Spud Boy's done that pretty well so far. Although, once again, he might not be getting a lot out of this rack. There is one problem, and it's a question of whether Spectre Dawn tries to get on the short side in the bottom of this 7 ball, or whether he's prepared to get a line to play the combo on the 8. So I would stay on my toes if I was Spud Boy, because again, this could go wrong. You've just got to be ready for it. And he's left himself short. I think he was trying to hold a line for the 6-9 combo. He's still got the cut. It's not quite as straightforward as it would have been if it had been on it, but he's nailed it anyway. So a quick response from Spectre Dawn. Now, of course, the biggest fear anybody has against Spectre Dawn and Friday Night 9 ball is if he starts getting his break working, because you very quickly could be 3 racks on the board in the blink of an eye. But Spectre Dawn, once again, I think that's the second time he's come up with a dry break. He's not left anything easy as a starter for Spud Boy, though. It's a cut, dodgy both ways. Got to watch the cue ball if he's going into this bottom right-hand corner, though. Got to watch the cue ball. Well, he was playing that withdraw to get to the rail to avoid the scratch, but It put him right off the line for potting that one ball. So, roll through. Manages to bump the 9 out of the way. I don't know whether that was entirely in the plan, but it's worked out. And just needs to come back out through the gap for the 4. A little spin to the rail and out. And this is how you do it when they're all there for the taking. You plot that cue ball on the right path and you'll get the job done more often than not. Well, I'm going downhill rapidly here. I don't think we'll get an awful lot longer left. Don't forget we've got those matches tomorrow in the bank pool tournament, but the big match over the weekend is the battle between Albinario and Cobra for yet another virtual pool. We'll say that again, another virtual pool for world title. Is Albinario going to add to his collection, or is Cobra going to get one closer? What the hell's the final a race to? I haven't even paid any attention. I mean, it's more than 11, I know that. I have no idea, and I can't be bothered looking. So, anyway, we're back on level terms here, 3 apiece. And Spectre Dawn, and this is the thing I said there about Spectre Dawn's brake kicking in. His brake hasn't kicked in at all. He's had 3 dry brakes for my calculations. And the only thing Spudboy's got against him is, yes, he's got the 1 and the 2 ball. He's not going to get very far with that 3 ball. That's pretty much dead and buried. He needs to be able to see it, though. Now, he might be able to billiard the 6 in. He might be able to billiard the 6. I think he can get to the edge of that 6 off the 3. Then again, if he'd hit it hard enough, it was definitely going in. But he's getting second prize this time. Now, you have to go up and down to hit this, because there's a fair chance the 6 ball might go in. I can't think of, doing anything else other than going up and down. But there is that, gap. There is that line you've got to judge. It was never a guarantee. And Spudboy, well, this is fairly straight, but he can pinch a wee bit if he wants to try and come down and knock the 5 onto the 6. But you've got to hit this and get that cue ball down. Now, I'm pretty certain Spudboy knows what he should be doing here. He should be jacking up a wee bit, getting a hold of that cue ball and just coming back. So you've got to be brave and play the shot. Well, you see, he wasn't brave. Tell a lie. Commentators curse. I'm half asleep and forgetting about the 4 ball. My bad. Spudboy knows what he's doing. I don't. I'm too busy looking at the 5 ball with the 6. He's actually perfect. He's actually perfect. If he's going to run and come across, he needs to bump something here, and that'll do. That will do. That's the perils of me going past my bedtime. Everything starts to go. The brain goes, the eyes go, and it's never good. But that was well done from Spudboy. And, well, he'll be praying that Spectre Dawn's break doesn't get that many opportunities. Well, the 1 ball this time threatened to go in, but it just went to the far jaw this time. And I think it's Spudboy's turn to come up dry, so there's no doubt where this is going to end up, because they are all there. Inspector Don will just be praying that, provided he gets himself out here, because I don't think he'll want to hang around any longer than he has to. It can get to squeaky bum time if this goes deep. That's what Spudboy has to hope for. In the meantime, Inspector Don cannot afford any mistakes, especially the way the rack's unfolding, because that 5 ball is still on the table. And he's got a testy 4 ball here. This is far from a gimme. But he's nailed it. Little bump in the 8. Perfect in the 5. Well, he can just baby this in nice and soft, and he'll stay that side for the 7. Again, just making sure he was far enough down the table to open up the 8 ball. Nothing worse than under hitting a shot like that and leaving yourself square and then having to dig out a pot. Inspector Don back on level terms now. Is the break going to work this time? Well, he's got a ball. He's got another ball. The 1 ball's gone. And the 4 ball has gone. Shot in the 2. 3 ball is there. 5 into the side. And the rest will be history as far as Spudboy knows. This is, unless there's a disaster, Inspector Don may well be turning the match around for him once that break kicks in, which it has done this time. Again, just a little nip to hold that cue ball out to see enough of this 7 ball. Well, he's making sure by doing the old VP4 escape route, taking any doubt out of the situation whatsoever. Now, I think, well, this will be, I think, the first time in the match Spudboy is going to be behind. Inspector Don with a 5-4 lead. Now, I don't think anybody that's watching this, not that there's many people watching, but nobody's going to confuse this with the actual title that's on screen. We had a bank pool match earlier on. This is Friday Night 9 ball, so don't be confused by the title. Inspector Don most certainly has hit the ground running here. And this is the nightmare scenario that everybody has against Inspector Don in this tournament. Is his break started to work, and then him doing what he does best, finding a way out. And again, he's just left himself a bit squarer on this 5 ball, so it's all about controlling the pace in the cue ball now. So now, this really wants to go 2-3 rails to get to the 7, or he has to start checking the cue ball up. And he's gone the 2-3 rail route, and he's perfect. And he's top side of the 7, so he's always got the angle there to make sure he's high enough in the 8. Well, again, if you're playing safe, you just go to the rail and come out far enough so you get a fairly straight in 9-ball into this bottom left-hand corner. And he's put it on the money. And now we have daylight between Spectre Dawn and Spudboy. It's a 6-4 lead. And I predicted earlier on there that this tournament would be around 2 hours or just over. And at the moment we're on sort of track to do that. It's 1 hour and 55 minutes. And Spectre Dawn's break is still working, although this time, having got a ball, which is the 6-ball, he's not ideal in the 1, but the 1 will thin cut into that corner. Now he just has to get a rub where he's still got a shot, and he has done. He's landed pretty good on the 2. Now again, you have to decide where you're going with this cue ball. And he's managed to nip it and avoid the 4. Had he collided with the 4, he would have been sitting a bit more awkward in the 3. As it is, he's now perfect. So now it's all about where he finishes to play the 4, because the 5's a wee bit fiddly. That's the only sort of stumbling block that there could be in this rack. It's just the fact that the 5 is guarded by a ball either side effectively. So again, if you're going to play this sensibly, you could play this right up into the corner and just go forward and come around and cut this 5 down the rail. It's the simplest way to get to the 5-ball without trying to do anything over elaborate. Now, to me, he's given this a lot of thought, but the way I'd be doing it would just be running this in and going around and out and finishing a bit there to play the 5-ball. He's left it a wee bit short, but I think he was wary of the 7-ball. So, you know, you're better to be that bit more cautious and, you know, risking running and interfering with the 7. But that will do, because he doesn't have a lot to do with the cue ball. He might just put a wee bit of nip in this to make sure he's sitting reasonable enough in the 7, which he has done. That's perfect. That is perfect. And Spectre Dawn on a roll now. That's 3 in a row, isn't it? At least 3 in a row. Or it's about to be. Well, this Spudboy going to get another shot. Well, it doesn't look good if you're in Spudboy's corner, because Spectre Dawn is off and running again. 1 ball. It's a clean shot. To me, it's all about not only getting on the 2 ball, but having a shot where you can get that cue ball out of there and get clean onto the 3. So this is the critical point of the rack, right off the bat. Now, that's not ideal. Far from it. It will cut. But the cue ball's going to be running. And there is a risk of bumping into something here. Let's have a look. And he's played it perfect. I mean, that couldn't have landed any better, because you can just hold this cue ball, or even, I don't know whether you can drop it through dead weight. He probably can. I think you can just baby this in and drop to the top rail, but you might be coming in behind the 4, just to be certain. Yeah. Didn't want to risk landing on top of the 4, probably. Well, this is how a match will turn against you if you're Spudboy. Spudboy's done nothing wrong. He's done nothing wrong. He stayed in the match up to 3 each, 4 each, and since then he hasn't had a shot. And this is what happens when you're playing at and you're in the mix with the higher level players. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities, and when they come, you have to take them. And Spud Boy can't do anything because he can't get a shot. And Spectre Dawn is on the hill. So this is Spud Boy's last chance. He's hoping and praying Spectre Dawn comes up dry. But unfortunately for Spud Boy, the ball is going in, but maybe it might not be quite as bad this time, unless he's going to play the jump, because he can't see the one. But I think there's not enough room. I thought he had enough room for a crossover there, cut in the one there, but he can't get enough of it. Now, what do you do here if you're Spud Boy? Do you put him back in? Because he can't lock you onto the 8 ball because the 1 ball's not sitting right to do that. Or do you play yourself? So Spud Boy can give this back to Spectre Dawn, or he can play himself. Now, if you've committed to play yourself, you need to come up with something good. Well, he's decided he's... well, he hasn't really decided anything yet. Well, that was the wrong decision, because he's just left the 1 wide open. And the only other thing that could come to his aid is the fact that the 7 and the 8 ball aren't doing anything. They could certainly be made as a combo up the rail. And let's see what Spectre Dawn figures out, because that's what he's already thinking about. And he's played it off the 7 and 8. That made it a bigger pocket. That's freed them up. And, well, if Arnie was here, it would be hasta la vista, because this is all over. The Spud Boy had one decision to make there. The decision was, does he play from the push out, or does he give it back to Spectre Dawn? Well, Spud Boy decided to play. The second mistake he made was he played a terrible play because he just left the 1 wide open. And that will be his last shot in this week's Friday Night 9 ball. So in the end, Spud Boy did everything okay up until the time. Although he had to be patient, it took him a while to get an opportunity, but he had the opportunity there, but he made a hash of it at the wrong time. And that's the one big mistake he's made tonight. And in the end, that's the only one he had for about 4 racks. And that's going to cost him the match. Although this is not sitting great. Hampered over the 9, but nothing to do with the cue ball other than drop the 7 in. But well done to Spud Boy for getting to the final. Sometimes it's a lot of hard work for Spud and players like him to get to these finals. And, well, let's see. What did he win? He must have got something, surely. Yeah, he's come out with a profit. Cost him 150 to get in it. He's come out with 260. That's all you're asking for. He's come out with a profit. Right, that's it, folks. Well done once again to Spectre Dawn. Keep your eye out for these matches over the weekend. And don't forget the big one on Sunday night with Albinario and Cobra. I'll be there for that. And I will bid you good night. I'm going to catch up with the snooker scores and get to bed. And we will see you again very soon. Take care and see you later.